Yo, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. All right. Well, my name is Job. It's pronounced Yoab. It's a weird name. My grandmother named me. Uh, it's a Hebrew name. What else can I say about myself? I am, yeah, Pisces.
Okay, so how long have you been making music?
God. Um, I mean, I want to say since I was able to get my hands on something that could project sound, like since I was like 8,
What was your first
just like
instrument?
keyboards.
Very nice. And do you have like a favorite project of yours that that you like always go back to, like it's your ultimate, your baby?
Yeah, but say that again now.
Like a
Are
favorite
you
project?
asking, do I have of mine or of
Yeah,
other artists?
yeah, of
Oh,
yours.
yeah, man. It's funny because I mean that's a really good question. I try to like not listen to myself as much as I can, you know, but like it has to be in breaks. But like my favorite projects are the ones that are like in the past, and then and then I dig them up, and then I'm like, oh right, and then I'm looking at them with like fresh goggles, new eyes, and they sound different, and then I forget like the vibe that I was in when I was making them, um, and then they become favorites of mine, or I am able to look at them and actually enjoy them more than I did when like there's always with people that create, make art, or put stuff out, you never know what it is. But what I've realized now is that it takes like time to kind of, you know, like to to not indulge in it, give it some space, and then let it like reflect later on. It's yeah. Does that
Um,
make sense?
Definitely. Do you have like a favorite recording process?
In the fucking stream of moment, man. That's the only way. I hate being told what to do. Like I hate, you know what I mean? Like I hate the idea of a band. Although like I play the part, like I'm like sure, like if my I have been like I have played shows, but I just like the idea of I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it, and this is what I have like in my backhand that I can present, right? So it's like it's always got to be in the moment kind of thing. That's what I like thrive in.
For whenever you're making these songs for a Clove Dream, is there like a certain goal? Does it like you come up with the lyrics first, or is it
No,
like, yeah, like how does it
hell no.
happen?
No, it's all stream, man. It's all nonsense. It's funny. It's the way that you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I just flag. I feel like I lay out the basis of the beat, you know, and then a loop. That's the basis, and then I can go all out. Then I can, like there's a mic. It's recording me, so it's a one take. All of Alcove Dream, it's just one time, one like first takes, one time. Like it's I hate thinking of or having to like be. Yeah, it's trying to think.
Um, I definitely can understand like what you're going for and what you mean. But I feel like with me and my songs, there's some stuff where I'm just jamming. I'm just like picking up the guitar and just going for it without really thinking like, okay, Yeah, like I'm gonna be playing these chords and like singing this exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise,
otherwise,
like
like
you
you
have to
have
have
to have
some
some
preparation.
preparation.
Fucked up because it's weird. You still have to have preparation where it's gonna like always. Dude, I was going through. There was like a year where I just like held a recorder, like a mini cassette recorder, in my hand. You know what I mean? Because it was like trying to catch Pokemon. It's
Yes,
like gotta catch them all. Like gotta catch all the ideas.
that's for
So
sure.
I like, so I would always like secretly like record, even to myself. Like I would try to like psych myself out. Like the idea of knowing that you're like recording is like it fucks you up. It makes it creates this sort of kind of like observer in this invisible. And you
To
like
me,
you fucking
I always say that the best jams are never recorded.
oh god yeah right yeah
Um,
yeah that's just the that it, that what's so beautiful
that's true.
um life and music. It's just it's you can't capture these things, you have to just be in the moment kind of thing, you know.
And overall, would you say that your favorite instrument is the keyboards, or has that shifted lately?
Oh, no. So that's what introduced me like primal kind of because keyboards are really easy to not know what you're doing and just play them and then keep C just like and it sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
So 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 that's really welcoming. That was really welcoming to me. Um, but once it was like leveling up to a guitar. It was like the keys were kind of like a trick. Like, oh, I can play whatever I want, and I just have to sing along to it, to my like own amusement. But getting a guitar and actually sitting down and then doing the required kind of like pensive, thorough thinking out a song, like a guitar for sure is my preferred. Like that's I don't write a song and yeah, I write with whatever, but guitars are like it's the adult contraption that I now use as like an extension of myself, mostly, mainly.
To me, it was like that was kind of what I used younger, my sort of instrument or piece. Like it was the thing that I could just like relay a lot into, mess with the amps and mess with the effects, and then like I just like I feel like whenever I was like 15, I bought my first like Korg synthesizer, and it just was like okay, it does arpeggiation, and you can plug your guitar into it and have like that also feed as like a sound and like I don't know. That's whenever I started to also really realize I could record my music in so many different ways. And before I was like heavily focused on just like recording all the moments on tape. Um,
Right.
yeah, and I was just wondering, like, what's your recording process like? Do you like to do the computer, or do you like to do the analog thing?
I'm always like tiptoeing around what's available, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm not I definitely I'm not an audiophile where I want it to be, it must be on the reel, otherwise it's not going to sound analog. Like I don't care, really, like it's just it's I, well, wait, hold on, let me think about that.
You're all right. Like for an example, like me and my girlfriend, we just recorded some music, and like we were just jamming live for the most part, and using like the computer somewhat to make beats or something, and then playing along with that live. But we recorded the entire audio of what that sounded like on tape. And once I played that tape back, and I was just like, wow, it sounds like I don't know, a whole different kind of thing because how it was like in the
It
room,
is,
like it took the texture and it changed and morphed it and also like brought some of the lo-fi into it to a certain extent.
yeah,
Yeah. Like
Isn't that really interesting? Because like
a
the tape,
damaged feel too. I guess. Yeah.
man, that part of it is really interesting to me because like I also I have like I carry these like tapes around with me like that I've had since I started like playing recording myself like friends, but it's so different than what like is produced when you're using a DAW to output, and it's got this like compression glue coloring that the tape does to like the sound. All that is it's like an artifact kind of. It's really big difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
What's really weird is that some people still are able to do or copy the, I guess, lo-fi vibe with DAWs. DAW. When I say DAW, I mean digital audio workstation.
Yeah, I can like in my own experience, I can attest to how it can be done, but also want to say like I would prefer recording like the guitar straightly onto the tape and then maybe putting that digitally to mess with, but then at the same time it takes away from the actual full aesthetic. There was this one project where I had like made everything on Logic, and I was like, oh, it'd be great if I just recorded every like the drums on the tape and put that back on the tape, and then the keyboards and like the the effects all separately on the tape and have that audio put back on there. So then like it would be erasing the digital sound and putting the vintage sound.
Right.
It also becomes a whole like conundrum in the end because you're still like editing and manipulating what was on tape. I don't know.
So check this out. This is what me and my little my goons are kind of doing. We're taking tape and we're putting it to digital, which is it's basically like so, and even reverse that, where I have digital songs that are going to tape,
Yeah, I love that
and
too.
then oh, for real?
Yes, definitely.
I didn't know if it was common.
I wouldn't say it's common, but like I just have thought about the idea and was like, oh yeah, like I wonder what that's gonna do if you just make it
It
all
does something, right?
it does something right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, expand a little bit about that project that you're using the tapes for.
Say that again.
Expand a little bit more on how that project where you were using the tapes for digital, like what kind of stuff you were doing.
Oh, right. So for the release that we have, it's ongoing, right? So
Right.
so we have this deadline that we have to meet. It's on Christmas, just because it's a holiday, and it's a day that I'm gonna remember. It's my favorite holiday. So um, for that, we needed to get all of my digital songs um, released in a way that's like do you say it's conventional maybe it so what we had to do was and then mix them, put him. And actually, the person that's doing this is my friend and collaborator. Um, Dusky is what he goes by, Dust Function. But he's been assembling kind of like in the background, putting together kind of these digital copies of the songs, and then putting them onto his 414, Tascam, mixing, and then putting them back onto digital. It's like a whole circle.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, definitely. And is that something that you've ever done in the past, or is this also something that's kind of
No,
yeah fresh?
this is all we're all jazzing it up. Like this
Yeah.
is just we have no idea what the fuck we're doing, and we're doing it. Yeah.
Definitely excited to see how the entire project comes out on that end. I will give a little shout out about how I have been working on these videos, and like whenever I work on my own videos, I'm like, oh, no pressure. But whenever it comes to I don't know, liking the music, and then like doing the art, you're like kind of second guessing everything. Like, is that good? Is that cool?
Oh
So
man,
uh, I just kind of wanted to give like,
don't get me started on that. Yeah, that's a fucking thing. It's such a listen for anybody that will I just really want to express this to people in my immediate vicinity and my loved ones. Just like, don't doubt yourself, don't second guess yourself, because really what you need to do is just output as much as you can. You're not the critic, that's not your job. You're the artist. Just create. If it's good, if it's bad, whatever, that's not up to you. You just do. You know what I mean? That's the message.
and at the end, I'm always like, I like the music. I don't know if I like the visual. Have you ever had the part where you're like, oh, I like the beat or I like this part, but I don't know if I like the whole song as an individual?
Say that again. If
Do you have like your
if
own song where you're like, oh, I only like these certain parts, or like there's just one part or this one instrument on it, but other than that, like I can.
Oh yeah, dude, hell yeah. Oh my god. That's like a fucking mole on your face kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I love this fucking thing, but it's got this fucking mole. If only I could scrape it off. Like, check this out. These fucking blemishes, like audio blemishes.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Sometimes you have to ignore them, and you know what helps you do that? Love. For whatever reason, when you become enamored with something, you like ignore. You can ignore the fucking the the bullshit drum beatbox. Or see, the thing is, not to get specific, but this is like on each one of my tracks.
Yeah.
There's something that I have to like that I hate. I absolutely hate all the songs I made. Like, I fucking hate them because I'm always like, no, I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, this could have been. And it's always like, well, it's going to be better. It's going to be better. Like, this is just the demo. Blah 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 blah. But these things, like, it's weird that you get to a point where you don't even you're not looking for them, so they become.
When you're looking for something, you're gonna find it, right? But if I just take it as like, wait, this isn't a song. This is just something that somebody's sharing with me, and that's what it is. Blah. It doesn't have to be concise. It doesn't have to fit a fucking reticule. Like, it doesn't have to have any sort of placeholder. Nothing. It's just, if I think of it as something that somebody's expressing and presenting to me in a way that I can just, like, but I have to be mindful of that. I have to think about that. If that makes sense. Sorry if I'm ranting. I don't know.
No, not even. All right. So, how do you feel about recording in a studio and recording like in your own personal space?
I've never recorded in studio.
Is that something that
Well,
you'd want to do?
yeah, definitely. I've had well, no, the thing is, like, you can make your studio anywhere, like your little down. You just need the right equipment. Blah blah. But your special place can be like your bedroom or wherever you record. It's they call it the underground. It's like a thing that's kind of like do it yourself. Um, it's not like the whole idea of like, I have to get up and drive down to the studio to blah blah blah. Like, sure, like you can make that your special place, but all I want is like for it to be, if there's like, like actual, if it's when you say studio, all I hear in my mind is like people that don't know me, they don't know who the fuck I am or whatever. They're just like there. They're, you know what I mean? It's like a business at that point. And that's like that's me. Like, it just throws me off. It's turn off. But like, I want a studio with friends. Like a kind of a thing where it's like, yeah, that might work, but that one works sometimes. kind of thing.
It
Like,
does. It does take a good hard shake and like also a needle in a haystack, trying to find that one guy that's down to like basically work on your music until 4 in the morning after you like were just in the
oh,
studio, or like
dude, that's the thing.
yeah.
These jobs have to be kind of, it's weird having being one person, and then you have not only do you have to like write music, perform it, record it, whatever, but then you have to mix it, then you have to present it as like a product. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Like put a video to it. Like you have so many different. All it is
It's just like one musician that's
just like doing this thing. But
I wish I could take the headache of like mixing.
and getting down to that because I'm not a good mixer, you know what I mean? Like I don't care about that shit. Like I just want to do it and let it kind of like flow. But I know that they're like whenever I get down to brass knuckles of like mixing and what the where the drum should be, what should sound like this.
Whatever.
Um I wish I had somebody that I could just like hire, like a secretary.
Like a temporary secretary.
And
Just have them there, just like
to do all the stuff that's really. But yeah, you do have to have someone that's set it up to for it. Yeah.
For me personally, it's about whenever I want to get really really loud and not focus on the recording aspect, or if I just have like a lot of experimental ideas going on where I'm wanting, to run the tape into the amp and like tweak out the pedals, but also really rely
Right.
on what the
Sound
amp,
guy.
yeah, what the amp is like, how loud the amp is, and like also just trying
Yeah.
to fill out like a space. Like I can see myself really, banking off of just hoping that the studio does well with recording
Right.
what random wild stuff just happened. And then also there's like, to me, I guess, being really specific about making sure I get all that stem file, because I'd want it to be sent to somebody where I'm like, yeah, I like what that guy's done to music, so I'd feel good with, him mixing it.
That's
You
that's
know.
the key. Yeah. That's what we all have to do is find kind of like like-minded. You know what I mean? I don't even know where to look
There's
for
only
them.
like even few bands personally where I'm like, I would take on like recording you and like trying to make you sound cool, but you might like it or you might not like it, but I would definitely
Right.
like it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so there's, I
Right.
guess, the whole story. If you ever watched the Meet Me in the Bathroom documentary, the whole story about,
Dude, I've heard about that.
yeah,
Actually,
the
that's the
DFA shout out
yeah.
is great. There's this part where they talk about the LCD sound system, and like just trying to record different bands, and then also like whenever it came down to it, it was like this sound engineer having an idea for like what that band can sound like in their perspective, and
Well,
that
I mean,
was
they
like
call
they were like, maybe you should have your own band if you want to turn it into that, but also he went along with it and it became a
right.
hit. So
Right.
yeah, I feel you on like the creating the artist part, for
Well, so
sure.
so check this out. There's this guy in the Beatles lore. Like I can't remember his name right now, but he's known as like the fifth Beatle or whatever. Basically, he was in charge of that with the sound. Like what's his name? He's the guy that did the having a fucking brain fart. I can't think of his name. So basically, this guy was like
he dealt with the sounds that the Beatles kind of produced. Brian, no, fucking thinking of Epstein. That's not his name. That's not his name.
um Jesus, man, I wish I could phone in a fucking friend. Can't think of his
But you
name.
bring up to your point is what that the sound engineer did what exactly?
So check this out. I'm pulling up my laptop because I'm a fucking adult and I can just look it up. I'm not a fucking caveman. Um, so basically, what I think he did
Is yeah, he was the sound guy. You know, you have to have a guy that it's like he was the sound guy basically.
which was essential for everybody in the mix. How do you feel about the Velvet Underground getting a record produced by Andy Warhol? Me and my friends always joke about what the fuck did Andy Warhol do for the Velvet Underground besides, give them an opening to play at a very
Right.
cool place.
That's all. I mean, really, it was just a marriage of a weirdo with another weirdo. You know?
Are you a fan of the Velvet Underground? Just wondering.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
feel
who's
feel
not?
it in your music, but I've also wondered if you're like, fuck those guys.
No, no. I mean, it's he's a hero. Like I do I listen to him? I don't know. But it's because it's not like I religiously like put on Velvet Underground every morning or anything like that. But yeah, no, yeah, man, they get it.
Speaking of who you religiously put on, who do you recommend? Like, who do you listen to? Any influences?
Oh
Anything
God,
recently?
that's the best question, dude. Inessa Navarro. She is, yeah, and it's spelled. Let me actually get correct with the spelling. But whenever I think of the people that are pioneers, you know what I mean? Like Ariel Pink kind of was, where they're kind of like just like opening this gate of like like unfettered sound and putting it in putting it in a way. Yeah, so it's Inessa, and it's Navarro, and it's Navarro. So like on YouTube, that's how you will find her. She made a song, an homage to Ariel Pink called Sol en Ariel. It's like sun in Ariel. So that should tell you. I mean, that speaks for itself. All right.
I'm a fan, and I would definitely give this a spin. I haven't ever heard, and so
Everybody should fucking listen to her. I think, and this is the thing with like Argentinians, man. It's weird, right? It's in South America. They speak a different language, whatever. Um, I think it's a weird thing that they're not trying to copy the U.S. as much as
That's good. There's a weird thing, a weird dynamic going on with people in South America where they try to mimic the sounds they hear from Western. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
definitely.
and so you got these copycat groups. Like even I mean, you know, yes, like pay homage, but don't be a copycat or whatever.
Yeah.
Like always pay homage. Don't.
That's a really good point. I actually have kind of lately seen in my own experiences by messing with more vinyl the incorporations of how um, the little catchphrases and the ways that titles have changed throughout. You know what I mean? We used to be very driven by like a full sentence kind of like title about what the song was. Um, and like now I feel like we're picking up different influences from other cultures. Um,
Yeah,
that's just like I feel like instilled in some
for
of the
sure,
music that's like becoming pop culture, like culture, and I don't know. That's I feel like is there any kind of like thing that sticks to you where you're like I want my music to fit with this vibe or this kind of like image. I just kind of wondered if you had like whenever you're working on like your album right now, like what kind of like themes come into mind.
it's really, yeah, right. So it would be really pretentious of me to like sit here and like say. oh, go by the way of Ariel Pink or whatever. But the facts are that that is what gave me um, kind of a solidified my
I was doing the same
thing kind of before I even
knew who Pink was, but then it was just validation because I realized that
wait a minute, I can make my own music and make it and reach people if I just try. You know what I mean? Like it's not like so far away. It's not something that um like in my mind I built up this, you know, thing that was like um which is just, you know, like if you top 40 fucking artist, you know what I mean? Like but there like that's the DIY do it yourself kind of thing to me is what I like. It's like yeah, you don't need these people. Like you can do everything yourself, you know. And then now, especially, everyone knows that this age in time, like this age of information where everything is so fast, everyone can just do what they want, like on a computer, on a laptop, just a guitar. That's it.
Yeah, and it seems like the way that you're gonna connect with the people that are more fit for what you do personally, artistically, is it's found now from an internet fan base and collective, and that's like sort of also like the outlet towards where other influences, other new bands, and other things are being like introduced. And some things like you see with like out of a pandemic is the movements, and I feel like now we're getting a different kind of movement from music in general, even though we have like the knowledge.
That's what started this whole fucking thing, man. For
Yeah,
me, I
yeah,
mean,
that's true.
COVID. Like, check this out. COVID, because I couldn't hang out with friends or go to shows or anything like that. Like red 2020, right? Like the beginning. I was so depressed. Yeah, I became an alcoholic like crazy. And then I reached out to Salvador Costa, who works with Mexican Summer. He does the videos for Aero Pink. But I reached out to him, and you know, he liked my song, and I said, "Hey, do you want to sing on this?" And then he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he made a fucking whole video for it, and just like it became a thing. But it was all because of COVID, because I would have never have thrown the balls to kind of like, you know what I mean, do it in my own like. I don't even know how I would have done it, but it was great because COVID inspired kind of like, well, you know what, fuck it, what am I gonna lose? Like
It's
I'm
funny.
just
It's
gonna.
funny that COVID made you grow balls, and then in my perspective, it made me shrink mine. I would say before, like I was way more ballsy, and like I would be willing to message anybody, and like I was traveling and like ready to just get up and go with like no money. And then like COVID happened, I'm like, oh shit, I should really reevaluate my priorities, I guess.
It put everybody in check, man. Like with whatever their life, you know, at the time, like whatever needed to be addressed, like it was like, you know, it became a thing. It was crazy.
Yeah, before I was just like now I'll go and like experience everything now and live it fast, and then like I guess COVID really just like slowed that down. And
Slowed everything down.
yeah, like I was living in Seattle, and like even the fact after some things, like after the shutdown and things opened back up and things are trying to get back to normal, it still felt like, oh, the music scene's never going to be the same. Oh, like I just put so much doubt and was just like, okay, like I'm gonna just try and wait until a better time. Whenever I still see, like in a lot of ways, the last 2 years, 3 years, now is still the time, and it's still the time today.
Right.
Did you have any current projects that you're working on besides this album release that's about to come out and our
All the
music
time,
videos?
man.
All the time.
Yeah, you have to.
Anything to mention?
It's almost like your side chick. You know what I mean? Like you have your primary love, whatever, but then you have your side chick. So I've got like several side chicks. You know what I mean? the whole thing about it is like, as long as you're open and honest with the, and you don't, they don't come, they don't like ever cross the other, boundaries, all that
Yeah, they
stuff.
gotta know about
You
the
just,
other family, maybe.
yeah, the other, the other music baby that you have going on, for sure.
Speaking of music babies, which one is like your favorite off this record?
Off mine?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a great question. Recently, a friend asked me out as well. Um, you know what? The best way that I can answer that is actually looking at the track list. 'Cause I don't want to just give you an answer. I want to actually like think about that.
I wondered if we share the same one.
So the one that gets me in my feels or whatever, you know what I mean? That kind of like gives me a little bit of life energy. I mean, Severed Hearts, man. That's the one.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on Severed Hearts as well. Besides, Mr. Brown is an immediate bop, but it's
That's
like
such a
once,
fucking yeah. That's
yeah,
such a fucking like candy bullshit song that I made in like 15 minutes. Just like you know what I mean?
and
Like
that
in the
15 minutes
moment.
brought energy.
I was just like, what the fuck? Okay, Mr. Brown. Yeah.
Oh my god! But whenever I heard "Severed Hearts," I will have to say, I was just like, this is the track that has everything.
It's
That I'm
gotta, yeah.
yeah, and
I think it would be the, well,
I
I mean,
mean,
it
it
depends.
depends on the question that you're asking, but so as far as like my that one, but
as far as the one that people will like the most, whatever, stop talking to me.
Is a hit or whatever, if you want to call it that.
yeah,
That's the one that like will be the mainstream kind of,
accessible. Yeah.
yeah, accessible. Exactly. It's like Ariel Pink's, what's that one song, that made rant. You know how that song's like really accessible? I fucking hate that song. But
There's some of his where I'm like, all right, I give you props, but baby, yeah, like he made that one.
oh
The
yeah, fuck
all around,
yeah,
round and round. I feel like if you were there for it, it was like what you know for. But I don't know.
right,
So
yeah.
also tell me, who was like your first like artist that you seen live?
Sid Barrett.
No way.
Yeah, yes way.
So explain what that was like.
Oh man, I was a fucking child. I knew who Pink Floyd was because my uncle had his like, Dark Side is the only album that he had. But I listened to that just over and over. My parents would like leave me with him like for the weekend, and he would go out drinking and I would just be left with all these, well, bored. And then I would just have to find my own kind of like my own, like I had to make my own kind of like fun. So I just put that on, and then I started questioning. It always starts with the question. I was questioning, wait, why do I like this album but I don't like The Wall? I kind of like The Wall, but but I really like I was thinking, I was thinking Piper at the Gates of Dawn,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like,
why do I prefer the psychedelic
weirdo kind of thing. It turns out it was Sid Barrett. So Sid Barrett became a thing where I immediately like I was like, shit, wait, so he wrote all the songs and he had his own thing and he has an album. I listened to his album and then that was it.
I'm a fan. I had his album whenever I grew up first driving, and I wondered if you know this one.
It's so punk, dude. Nobody knows it, but it's fucking punk. It's like real punk, you know?
He's got this one that goes like, "I'm thinking, yes, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
yes."
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm thinking. It's something. Yeah.
I'm like, bro. Whenever I first heard that one, I was like, yeah, this guy. I gotta learn what he was doing. I
Yeah.
can really relate to you on this one. Really cool.
My
You got to see Sid.
No, no, I didn't get to see him.
Oh, but yeah, it was your first experience.
Yeah,
One of the
that
first.
dude,
Yeah.
that
Or as
that
far as
that
just
was
like,
that was what broke, you know what I mean, like the wall kind of like, wait a minute, what the fuck, there's a and Ariel Pink talks about this. He talks about there's a question in music that is never going to be answered. It's like the quest, the question. But I think about that a lot, and I always think, right, so Sid Barrett had this kind of, all the other stuff aside, but he had this fascination with kind of painting imagery with words, and it didn't have to make sense. You know what I mean? Like it didn't have to be a one-liner kind of thing that's like, it could just be abstract. And so I went to that abstract, like as a plight of my life. Like I decided then and there, like, this is the kind of person I want to be. I want to be the abstract weirdo. I don't want to be the fucking, normie NPC fucker.
I remember whenever I first heard about Salvador Dali whenever I was younger, and didn't know that at the time that he knew that he had so much talent, so he put all his efforts elsewhere. And that's kind of something where,
Right.
like along the line for
Nobody have
me, where I was just like, okay, like I can actually do more than just recording, or like on a focus on more than just like one thing, like use your actual talent.
right.
When did it come for you where you were like, okay, like I can put all this together and like start like making music and like bringing people
COVID.
together? Yeah, COVID was the main brought.
Because I couldn't go out and distract myself, and I had to face myself, like, face to face, where I was like, what do I have? What is this? What have I done? I was sitting on my mounds of tapes, metaphorically, and I was just like, is this who I am? Is this me? Like, is this me? And then I was like, well, fuck, nobody knows who I am. And then I was like, okay, so let me just put this in a nice little stupid bow, like an album, and put it out, and that way, blah, like at least I can, like, yeah.
Okay, and so personally, right now, who would you like to see live that you haven't seen before?
Oh man, I hate to go back to Inessa Navarro, but I even, I communicate with her. I really, really want to like put her like at front desk, because she's probably my favorite albums, like 2021, like Inessa Navarro's, and I can link you, whatever, because it's just like Ariel, where it's not accessible, that you have to kind of like go on this search, and then you find, you know what I mean? Like, people have to kind of like promote, and this poor thing, not to, but it's a weird thing with I mean, it's really kind of stoic, but it's really nice that she doesn't self promote. She could be doing all these things that people do to kind of like promote themselves, but she doesn't, right? So like, I told her a long time ago, I was like, dude, I'm gonna promote you, for you, because you're not doing a very good job of it. Like, I told her this a long time ago, like 2 years ago, when we first, like, we became pen pals, we and
But
Her, like,
she sent me a video of her playing live, and I was like,
fuck, that's the only thing
I would actually get my
ass up and go
see, like,
I would fight for that.
you know what I mean? I would go to Argentina, just fly over there, just to fucking see Inessa Navarro play. Like, it's grand. It's really, really, really good music.
I'm on the same page. Whenever my artists are out there touring, playing, I'm just like, okay, it's a matter of whenever I can take the time to come out there. No matter if it's like an 8-hour drive, 14-hour drive, like I'm trying, like if they're out on tour, if
Who
it's
I
possible,
last did that?
I'm trying to do.
I did that. I did that with Loving, the band Loving.
That's
That's the
very
name
nice.
of the band.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah, I saw them in Houston in right before COVID. So it was like 2018 or something. I can't remember. But it was when things were cool, And I'm so glad that was like the last show I went to, man, was Loving. And I fucking love them.
I will have
Like,
to give
I like their first album.
I will have to give a shout out. I mean, I know like the last few shows I've seen are like, I don't know, like more punky. Like I went to see like Boris and like The Garden and Nothing.
The Garden, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like before COVID, AV Terror played out at the Deluxe Flux in Detroit, and he was playing the music that was like right between Cal's Hourglass Pond stuff, you know. So it was like a really, really different experience seeing him have like a different kind of drummer, Jeremy Hyman on the like drums, and like he had like Josh Deacon on like the other guitar and like bass and stuff, and I don't know, it's like a really different kind of take on the stuff that he was doing live after,
Yeah, it's always a
you know,
different take when you bring it live,
like
because you have the audience dynamic, you're vibing with the people, you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
a different thing than actually. So I want to separate that from actually like, you know what I mean? Because that's another thing. Like
like
when I'm
they were
like,
newer songs, and so like, or a newer record, so it was also kind of like fresh and out of the box than the last one. And whenever I feel like artists do that, it's either a hit or miss because they're kind of
right,
expecting them to bring back the old hits. And like
right,
it was really, I don't know, it was a good show before COVID had to you know, end in that realm for a little bit.
right.
The other artists out there that like re-incorporate their songs, who have you seen that you would give shout out to?
Well, so hmm. I mean, the scene is so decadent. Like it hmm. Dude, honestly, like you're talking about before COVID, right? That's a lot. I mean, that's yeah. Last time I went to shows. Um,
And I got to see the Strokes out in Seattle before in March before the
you
shutdown.
know, it was actually really cool going whenever I before COVID hit. I would go to places not knowing like who was going to play, like Fitzgerald's in Houston, or like it's here in Austin. It's Hotel Vegas, man. When I first saw Part Time, I was like literally going to every each one of their shows. Like for like 2 years, I followed them like around Texas because they're from El Paso, and so like I would see first the first time I saw him was at a house party, and it was awesome because I had no idea who he was, and he was just like karaokeing on a mic some of his songs, right? And his drummer was like playing songs and he would sing them. It was a house party, and I said, "Hey, this is really cool. It reminds me of Geneva Jacuzzi." Blah blah. We started talking. He gave me like all his records. Like he was like, "Here, man, I'm gonna hook you up." That's what he said. And he gave me and my friends, like we were like 15 or something at the time, but he gave me and my friends like fucking free records. And then I saw him again at another South by Southwest at the whiskey bar, I believe. And he was playing, and he recognized me. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's you know." And we were in the bathroom, I think, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And dude, I mean, you know, all that stuff, but the kind of shows that I want to go to are the ones that are like underground kind of, you know what I mean? Like they don't like you don't it's not a headline, but Hotel Vegas is like the spot, man, in Austin. You gotta go to Hotel Vegas. Generally, they have a good lineup.
Do you plan on booking up some shows for 2023?
Bro, what is happening with COVID? I don't know. Like, is that even allowed? I, you know,
It seems half and half. It seems like it's a dimmed out scene, but at the same time, the bands that are out there doing it are doing it. So I don't know. Power to them amongst all of the bullshit.
yeah, like my friend Dusky is what I call him, Dust Function on Instagram. He makes really good music too, but he's the one that goes like he's playing shows nonstop. You know what I mean? With this like he has like 4 bands or 3 bands. And he's just like, man, I'm tired of this shit. I just want to play stuff that I really like. We have one band, so we're in talks of like me moving at least closer or something, so that yeah, man, this next year like it's gonna just be me trying to play my stupid songs live with him and whatever else we can get. You know what I mean?
Well,
So that
I will be out there in your area for any show and down to come out to play a show with you. Just heads up,
hell yeah, that's all great, man. Awesome.
Any other things that you'd like to make note of before we end things up for the show?
No, man, I just want to take so check this out. I want to kind of like give credit where credit is due. Thanks for setting this up, man. It's fucking great. Like I thought I was just calling to like chat. I didn't know I didn't know I didn't know what this was gonna be or whatever. But
True, true.
like literally I was just yeah filing fucking documents right now, and then I was like, yeah, I guess I can do that.
Yeah.
So
Also, what kind of music would you recommend? Any songs that you'd recommend for me to play after this?
bro, we keep going back to it. Inessa Navarro, Sol en Ariel. I can link it to you. You know, Sol is Solen, Ariel. So Sol en Ariel by Inessa Navarro.
And any other songs that you'd recommend that I play from your music?
Of my music?
Yeah.
Nah, man, I'm not lame like that. But thank
Me,
you, man.
to me, I'm like, shout out to all my projects. You gotta listen. But yeah, thank you for joining Vibe Osmosis, and hopefully it's a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Happy holidays too.